I did not expect the sheer volume of donuts we would have to make. Like, I had no idea. I thought that, 200 would probably be the best for a month. We're currently producing over 600 donuts a day and we're still sold out. I think to myself every now and then that sure, I dealt with issues, but I also come from a certain position in society where, I'm not saying that I come from a moneyed family or something, but just by virtue of the school I went to, or just by being social or something, I know that there are a million women out there who have probably worked a million times more than I have, and who are probably not sitting here and telling this story. In 2007, 2008, I decided that I wanted to do food, but I was too broke. My family didn't really want to or have the funds to send me to culinary school. It was really expensive. Culinary degrees even today are very, very expensive. So I applied for a scholarship, and I think I spent about a year trying to plan that scholarship and how I was going to do it. And at the end of the year, I did get it. It was through James Beard Foundation, and I chose Cordon Bleu, London, and everything was paid for except for my knife set, which I had to buy. Right after Cordon Bleu, I knew that I didn't want to come back to Pakistan immediately, because my whole thing was that where would I work? So instead of coming back straight away, I went to Turkey from London, and over there I think I trained for about 8 months at a restaurant, and they had a bunch of restaurants, so they sent me to all their different venues, and so that training was amazing. Someone I knew who I'd spoken about this home-based catering business with actually called me up one day and said that, it's my brother-in-law's birthday or something, and there's 25 people coming, so can you do it? And I remember I just said yes, not really understanding how I'm going to do it. And the only purchase I made was an oven. So Fatsos is currently still operational. It is essentially a home-based catering business. We do food for as less as 6 people, and it goes up to 50. That's the highest we've ever done. Fatsos also works with restaurants, and we supply desserts to them. 3 years into Fatsos, when I was working as a home-based catering person, I just designed a menu for somebody, for a restaurant, and I then trained their staff. That's when I finally went back into a restaurant kitchen after Istanbul, and that kind of changed things. That's when I was like, okay, one could get into the restaurant business, but Fatsos, it's been 8 years since I've been running Fatsos, and there comes a point where you either expand into a much bigger business, or let Fatsos be the scale it is, maybe even focus on B2B and deal primarily with businesses, or open a restaurant. 4 to 5 years ago is when I realized that I wanted to make donuts. And as I made them, I realized that it was really hard to make donuts. There was a lot of time involved, and if I were to compare it with any other desserts that I was selling, it was literally 3 times the amount of work and the time. And you can't really charge that much for a donut. I remember back then I got done with a full day of baking and raising and working on donuts, and I thought to myself, in fact I even wrote it on Facebook or somewhere, and I remember saying that it's just too much work and I don't think I'm ever going to put it on my menu. And 4 years later, this is the most important part of easy. For me, it's more important for people to get fresh donuts than for people to get donuts. It's as simple as that. I can very easily just do a night shift, get all my bakers to come in at 1 a.m., finish everything by 7 a.m. and leave. But that is not the kind of practice I'm going to do. Whether we're selling 500 donuts or whether we're selling 5,000 donuts, it will have to be in batches. And if people get it in the time that they're here, if a new batch comes in, that's great. If they don't, it's unfortunate, but we're working on it. We're scaling as much as we can without trying to lose the quality of the product. HR is a really big issue. retaining staff, especially in a time when there are literally restaurants popping up by the hour. You come in, your menu's kind of different, you train your guys, next thing you know, someone's got an offer for double the amount of what they're getting over here. Now, had I not been a chef, had I not known what I need to make and what I need to put on the menu, it would be a really big problem for me, and a lot of people face this issue. Their chefs blackmail them. We have 2 schools, at least 2 that I know of, on a mass level. One is Pitham and one is Kotham. And unfortunately, I don't think that they're training staff and training people the way a culinary or hospitality school should. Hygiene. It is, you can impose all the fines on your kitchen staff or your floor staff, and their level of hygiene will never match yours. So hygiene is a really big issue. Timings, from staff's personal issues to strike ho gayi, bike kharab ho gayi, all of that, getting your staff in at the right time is actually, punctuality actually is a really big problem. The primary kind of main advice that I could give to anyone is to come in, keep putting in the time, day in, day out, day in, day out. 6 months, a year into it, you'll realize if it is really something you want or not. The most important thing, apart from even following your kind of, putting in that kind of time, is to understand that do you have it in you to deal with 5,000,001 issues on a daily basis. I have learned after opening a restaurant that after a while it's not even about the food. Or at least it's not all about the food. I used to think that having a great menu would be it. But day 1 and 2 operations, our exhaust blew off. Day 2, our guard is up to no good. Day 3, the bathroom is breaking. Day 4, your service, like floor staff, has some issues. So it all comes, it's 5,000 things that I don't even have any experience with. So are you willing to put in that kind of time? Because if you're not, then you're just going to make a really big mistake.